John, who would ever think that we needed to say that we have a right to our own conscious thoughts?
Kathy O'Brien said it in the 90s. She came out as an MK Ultra survivor and whistleblower. You probably know of her, Kathy O'Brien.
Yeah.
She's become a dear friend, but she was aware because she was a victim of that, of the more primitive stages of that technology, or more of that mindset that has now evolved into this. So, but yeah, if you say this to people even today, you know you have a right to your own thoughts and to the sovereignty of your thoughts. Like, it sounds strange that we have to talk about it.
But we have to have a legal, it has to be legally defined. You know, in 1948, in the United Nations, what we saw happen in Europe during the war, the atrocities, there was no legal term to make that illegal. So they coined the term genocide, had to be coined. That term is a legal term, and it has very specific legal implications, legal definitions. And if it is used and it's agreed that's what's happened, it sets into motion a cascade of legal processes if whatever is happening meets that term. But who would ever, I'm just using this as an example, who would think you would have to have a term to make it illegal to do what was done to, you know, millions of people in the war? And that term has not always existed. It was coined so that they could define it and then make it illegal. The same kind of thing is now happening when it comes to what Yuval Harari calls hackable animals, our own conscious thoughts, our own free will. And you say, well, how can those kinds of things be skewed? And it is possible to skew emotions. I mean, we already know, we know that magnetic fields from the sun vary with solar activity, and it influences things like heart rate variability. It influences mood, decision making, and those are through natural processes. So what we're talking about is artificially hijacking those kinds of processes to influence, you know, the way the decisions that we might make and how we might respond to different kinds of events. And all of this, for me, falls under the umbrella of human divinity. Our ability to have sovereign divinity and to be able to express divinity and sovereignty and freedom are really closely related terms. So that goes on, but the AI conversation now has become a part of this because of the implications that it can have. Not there yet, but that it can have.
Okay, are you ready for one or two more?
Yeah, let's see what we've got here.
Okay, this sort of, I think we lean into this. The way the truth and the life says or asks, isn't the true Antichrist not a man but a network, AI itself, digitizing consciousness, creating a false afterlife, seducing humanity into eternal enslavement? Did somebody say Palantir? No.
This is one of those places, John. I'll make a distinction between a science-based answer and my personal sense. As a scientist, I have to say I don't know the answer because I don't know. My sense, and personally, I don't know either. I don't know who the Antichrist is. I think it's interesting that Peter Thiel is doing so many lectures on the topic. I think it's just interesting. It's strange that a tech guru would be drawn to do so many talks on that topic while developing technology that diminishes our sovereignty.
A devout Christian, in his own words.
But he's developing the technology that's being used to diminish our sovereignty. So I don't know the answer to that on a personal level either. I do believe that when you read, not even from a religious perspective, just a historic record, you read the book of Revelation. And Revelation obviously is a man who used today what we would call a prophetic vision or remote viewing or precognitive vision. And This is interesting. So I want to talk about this just a little bit. We know science is studying precognition as a science. And it's fascinating, John, because, and I'm just going to sum it up non-technically like this. If you look at consciousness like a river flowing in one direction, that matches what's called the arrow of time. Time appears to run in one direction. Doesn't mean we can't go in the opposite direction. We can travel backward in time, but in general, the flow of time is in one direction. Consciousness is moving in one direction. All right. So here's the river of consciousness flowing along. When an event happens in consciousness, so let's call this pin, doesn't show it, well, you can see it. Let's call this pin an event that's happening in the river of consciousness. Okay, if this pin is in the middle of the river, when the river hits this pin, it creates ripples because the pin is a discontinuity in the water. So it's creating, so some of those ripples are over here and some are here, but check this out. Some of those ripples actually are behind the pin, which implies that the ripples are happening before the water even reaches that pin. If you think of this in terms of consciousness, an event like 9/11, for example, or like AI being implemented throughout the world, that's an event. There are ripples from that event that are going to be on the sides, and there are ripples that are going to move upstream. Our consciousness, and it's done through the neurons in the human heart, can detect the ripples of an event before that event has happened. Isn't that interesting?
It was measured before 9/11, wasn't it?
It was, and there were a lot of, but scientifically, they said, well, how can that be? And now this is the side, I just talked about this in a recent program, so it's very fresh in my mind. So when we have a prophet 2,000 years ago, he is picking up ripples of events into the future and writing about what those events mean to him. And the way that is described, that everyone has to participate in this system or they are not able to buy food and not able to participate in society, that certainly suggests, what it is that we've been led to believe is terms like the Antichrist. And now you look at the tech that's out there, and they're, I'm not alone in this. A lot of people say, man, that's exactly when we're all required to have some kind of a digital ID to participate in society. That's exactly, what that is. So what was the question, the outcome of the question? It was saying, is that it? The answer is yes. Yeah. I think we could make that comparison. I think there's a good argument and a compelling case that argument could be made.